Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying time is here once again at the drainage basement, and we have the Water Sallies coached by Beer Belly. And it is at their stadium, I believe, so it's going to be a little bit of a home field advantage for them. We will see here in a moment who they are playing against. They are going to be up against the Seattle Slither, coached by Junior 4888. And there you can see his team. He's been Junior 4888, or the Seattle Slither Lizardmen, have been having some bad luck throughout these seasons. Both this one and the last one, they've been plagued by a lot of bad rolls. But let's see if their luck can turn on this one. These are both teams that have been losing every game, so we'll see if any of their luck can change. Alright, so Seattle Slither looks like they are going to be kicking, and they're setting up in sort of a checkerboard formation in the backfield with a small line in the front. Nope, now they're breaking up that line and putting more of it in the front. So they're going to guard at the line, even with some skinks up there. Alright, Water Sallies setting up for the catch. Putting a sort of line there in the back, with the receivers on the sides. And then some of their blockers in the midfield there. What are those? Those are called the storm vermin right there in the center. Alright, and the kick is off. And Seattle Slithers get an extra team roll this half. So the Seattle Slither luck has changed already. At last it's gone, oh, but then they have a touchback, so their good luck is tempered with some bad luck. So the ball goes right over to the catcher, or to the thrower rather, who pushes right into the center with his blockers there. So that will give him a choice of whether to go left and right, and if he's going to put one of his linemen directly behind him. And they're going to run. Oh! Water Sallies send out a receiver and get tripped right away, and it's immediately a turnover. Not worth it for a reroll. So they're not going to get their receivers out there. So now Seattle Slithers are going to push through the center. Stitch has been KO'd. And luck is already going bad for the Water Sallies this time. Oh, but then this time the luck turns back around. Right back to the Lizardmen. One of their linemen getting knocked down. Alright. So now the receivers are going to go way out there to the left. One of the Seattle Slithers has abandoned their post over there, so now they can slip through. And now you have two receivers way out there on the left. He's going to take a chance and run a little further in, close to the center field. And the other receiver is going to run out there. This time he did not get tripped up. And the final one right over there is going to run, looks like closer to the center. Dodge through a couple of them, and now you have four receivers wide out on there. One of them is going to be a little closer to the center now. And now the two blockers are going to move a little bit over here to the left, or at least one of them did, and then there's the other one. And now the thrower is going over there, so these two receivers are not likely to get the ball, but they're going to get into motion over there on their left. Yeah, and then he's going to redecide whether or not to put his blocker in the left or in the center. Alright, the Skinks are going to go over there to block the receivers. Oh, they're even going to go for it a bit. It's a nice sunny day here, by the way, in the sewage basement. And they're not going to actually get right next to them, and they're not even going to block them from the front. They're going to be in the front of them to block the runs if the receivers catch it. I think that one of the receivers actually has the catch ability now, and now they're going to knock through there. Let's see here. Yes, Salacious now has the actual catch ability. Most of them just have dodge. Oh, wait a minute, here. Yeah, that's dodge. That's dodge. There we go, it's Beethoven, has the catch ability. Oh, and the blocker manages to do his job and keeps the Lizardmen from getting in towards the ball carrier. So there are several open catchers out there. Let's see if they go for it. Well, first thing they're going to do is one of the blockers is going to run in and knock down a skink. And then the thrower is going to break through there, go right up to one of the receivers, gives it right over to him. Now Salacious has the ball. He's going to run. He's going for it. He's going all the way. Touchdown on the second turn. Water Sallies score right away in this game. Only 2 turns and they already have a point on the board. That was extraordinary, but that is the ability of the Skaven. That's their that's what they're known for, is their speed, and they have a way of running up there. In fact, they actually technically have a way of scoring on the first turn. Now, they didn't do it this time, but let's see, or was that turn 3? Water Sallies. It was turn 2 or 3. I might be mixing it up. Let's see, the first turn. Well, all right. So they're setting up for the kick. You all can know it. You've already seen it, and all of you can just jump back to it. So now the Water Sallies are spaced out there. They have their gutter runners in the back, their blockers in the middle, and then a thin line in the front. The Seattle Slither are putting their strong ones up front, and all of their skinks behind. And the Water Sallies now actually have a kicker. So the Water Sallies can now set up again to another defense. Yeah, and that's, by the way, yeah, right over here you'll see Stitch is now a kicker. So their kick is going to go exactly where they want it to go, and they can see it's going to the right, so they're going to put, well, a few more over here towards the right, it looks like. Yeah, they've tried to pull some from the front and are realizing, okay, well, maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe want to do that. Maybe want to do that. Maybe something else. Maybe. Okay, there the ball has finally landed. And it landed right next to one of the skinks. He tries to pick up the ball. He drops it. It is a re-roll. And now he has it. Now the skink has, who is this? It's Ja. It's Ja what? Alright, now they're going to make a gap, which is a bit easier to do with Skaven than with others. And once you can get that Rat Ogre out of the way, so it looks like they are going to create a gap on their right, our left. Oh, and the blocker knocks him down, so now they have a big open gap. Well, not a huge open gap, because they still have these guys right here, but there's a bit of, and you have to run around that body on the ground, but the Seattle Slithers get a turnover before they get to do much with their turn. And the Skaven seem to be thinking they're still going to go over to their right. But now, okay, here comes the blitz all the way in there. That is a daring run, and they both get knocked down. The ball is free. Ball is out in the open. They get a turnover, but it is possible the Seattle Slither will not be able to pick up that ball. Well, no, there we go. It gets up again. He has trouble picking it up once again. Has to use up their other reroll. Well, they still have one more after this, but now it's yet another reroll gone. Oh, and then he has his second thoughts as he goes back. And it's considered a blitz. That's kind of interesting. I don't know why that is. But anyway. Oh, and once again, you know, that is the third time that the Storm Vermin have used their block ability on that side. The Skaven, this particular game, are really using the ability of those Storm Vermin. They're in just the right place at just the right rolls. That you don't see that often. And now the battle of the Titans there with a frenzy. Oh, and he goes too far and gets himself into the middle of some of those Lizardmen and gets himself knocked down. So, what is that called? That is the Rat Ogre is on the ground. The Seattle Slither have the chance again. They've had some bad luck up to now, but now they are creating that gap on their right, our left. Baldy is now stunned, and that particular Saurus is running down the field. Now we've got the skink is running down the field, going to take that ball down along their right, our left. And they're getting pretty far. Look at that. The end zone is right down there. They actually might be able to still score this half. They're going to create a line along there. Now he's not quite at the goal line, you know, being at, or that goal line. He's not quite along the sideline. being along the sideline can be very dangerous. You get knocked out of there and get stomped on. So he's left a gap there, which is a very good plan. And now they get that Storm Vermin knocked down, running by, and he didn't even... Oh, and the Lizardmen apparently did not see one of the Skaven there and got tripped up. Now, the Skaven... The Lizardmen are running down here on the left. The Skaven are all here on the right, thinking that's where they were going to go. Apparently, they didn't see the projection as this area was getting cleared. They just saw that the ball was over here, went over here. Now they're going to have to react, go back this way. But never to fear. The Skaven are all very fast, and including their gutter runners, Stinky Tulip and Salacious are getting over there. Ratman now is over there. They have a thin line along there, and now they're going in for the blitz. They're going to knock out one of those skinks and get right up next to the ball carrier. And now it's looking bad for the Lizardmen. I mean, it went all the way from they had a clear field to now the Skaven are all around them. They're going to have to get through that wall. A thin wall it may be, but they also have the Riddler right at their doorstep. Alright, now we're going to see if they can get through this puzzle. Oh, and right away, one of them slips. Yes, they have to use their last reroll to get that Saurus into place. Now they're going to have to get through that hole without losing anybody. And they knock one of they get the Riddler out of that position. So now the runner is free to run, but he can't go very far without running into some of the Skaven, and they have already used up. Oh no, they didn't already use up their blitz. That's right. The other one was just getting into the other source was just getting in position. So he now knocks Stinky Tulip out of bounds, and that, just like I said, once you're knocked out of bounds, you get beaten up by the crowd, and it is not a lovely crowd. And now he is injured. He's going to lose one movement of... Oh, that is bad for a gutter runner to lose 1 point of movement allowance. That's going to be a permanent injury on that on Stinky Tulip. So you're going to see him having troubles from now on. But more importantly, the Seattle Slither now have an open field there, and they're trying to bring anybody else over just in case this is going to go a little further, but they're going to make some room for the runner. The runner is now going to run through there, and without any rerolls, does he make it? He makes a touchdown! It is now a tied game, and we're maybe only halfway through the first half. This is more points than you usually see in an entire game, and we are only partway through the first half. This is an exciting game. This is one of those games where you expected to see a lot of troubles and all that sort of thing because of the fact that this is two teams that have not seen a win yet this season. But instead it's turned into exactly the opposite. We have a high score, well, for Blood Bowl, high scoring, 1-1, and the game's only kind of getting started. Alright, well, I guess no, we are close to the end of the first half, but still, having a tied game at the end of the first half is quite extraordinary, especially with two turns left. The Skaven actually can do something with 2 turns. That's just how fast they are. So the Lizardmen getting set up mostly on the front with only one guy in the back. That is not a wise move against Skaven because Skaven can move so quickly. They might be able to get down that field. However, they are trying to guard and have no place unguarded, trying to protect everywhere so that every zone is guarded. And the Skaven seem to have come up with a position. And now there is a riot. Both teams gain a turn. Okay, well, it's a touchback. And that works in the Water Sallies' favor. They could score in 2, but now they have an extra turn in which to score. So this could possibly work in their favor. Once again, luck has gone against Seattle Slither. You have to feel sorry for those guys. Alright, now, and interestingly enough, in the touchback, there we go, the Riddler had it, who's a Storm Vermin. They're not as good with carrying the ball. They have now passed it back to Spot, the thrower, the only surviving thrower, and they're going to create a box around them right there in the midfield. So now the box is created, and you're going to have the gutter runners on all sides. Oh, there you got one gutter runner sort of in the back there. Sometimes gutter runners can be used as halfbacks and fullbacks, and now a receiver is going out, and he has dodged all the way through them. That was Beethoven, their star player, has managed to get through all of them, and the next one who is that? Salacious has gotten tripped and is knocked unconscious. This works now against them because while they do have a runner in the outfield, they only have one runner in the outfield, and it's going to be very obvious as to which direction to cover. Sewer Water Sallies may need to run up the middle, and they may just not have enough turns for that. And the Seattle Slither are making sure they know that will also be a bad idea because they are managing to break through right there. Alright, now the one catcher is being surrounded, but now he's actually being knocked down. Oh, and he is going to be knocked on his face. There goes Beethoven. Go write a symphony. Beethoven is stunned. And that is the Sewer Water Sallies' best player. Now, of course, actually it's better stunned than injured. Of course, now this makes it him susceptible to being injured, but and Seattle Slither are tired of this bad luck, and they're going to do as much damage as they possibly can. They were the team that actually killed a player on the very last turn. They killed the Nurgle star player, the one we were calling Tom Brady, even though he had some other name, but he was always Tom Brady to us. Yes, Tom Brady was a Blood Bowl player, and he is now dead. Alright, goes to the Sewer Sallies. They're going to try to go straight through the middle, do the reroll, and the reroll is a skull! They're going, the Ratman is going, what is it called? The, what are these called? The Rat Ogre has been knocked down right in the center. And so it goes over to the Seattle Slither. It is a turnover. They're going to be able to push their way in. And it works especially bad for for Sewer Water Sallies because they are not going to be able. They have one more turn, and even though they're fast, they're not going to be that fast to get it in there. The Seattle, and they have knocked out the Penguins. So they, in addition to everything else, the Sewer Water Sallies are losing players, and is coming in for the Blitz. Oh, the Blitz does not give them a knockdown. It just pushes them aside. So the Sewer Water Sallies will retain hold of the ball, and the killer tail, which killed Tom Brady, knocks into the Rat Ogre, but does not manage to kill him. That's something that happens. These Lizardmen, they get really mad when they lose a game. You know, when they're sure that they're going to lose a game, they just go, well, we might as well kill as many of them as possible. So now the Skaven are going to come back, start knocking around some of the Seattle Slither players. Now they know actually that they can't score at this point, so might as well just injure people. That is the Blood Bowl way. Although they are going to pass it, and it's intercepted. It was being thrown to one of the gutter runners who may have been able to run it at least most of the way. Possibly could have maybe done a touchdown. I'm not quite sure what the thought process was there. But the Seattle Slither get the ball. Apparently he knows he can't make a touchdown this turn, so he's just going to knock into Ratman. Oh no, it was considered a blitz, so he could possibly run it, but no, he's just going to knock one over. They're using the strategy, we're not going to score, so pull down their pants. The old meatballs strategy. Alright, and so that with a double knockdown, we are going into a turnover. We are going to go into halftime. Scored 1-1. This is actually a much more exciting game than we expected. Our drink today, by the way, is vodka and not Mountain Dew. It is vodka and Sunkist? No, Fanta. Orange Fanta. Alright, we're going back out on the field, and this time it is Sewer Water Sallies kicking off to Seattle Slither. So if Seattle Slither is able to score this half, they will have their first win. In fact, this will be their first win in both seasons. Last season they went all defeat. I think they had one tie or something like that. This season they've definitely had no wins. In fact, I think it's again been all defeats. And yeah, even though Sewer Water Sallies has been defeated this whole season, they've at least had some wins last season. So this could be an exciting turnaround. Now, once again, the Seattle Slither is going to make a strong left. It's on our right, but on their left. once again projecting as to what they're doing, but if they can just get it over there, they will be fully engulfed. Alright, brilliant coaching. Seattle Slither gets an extra reroll. The luck, once again, is on their side. The ball, even though the Water Sallies have a kicker, the ball this time went, once again, a little bit to the right. Seattle Slither is going to put themselves into having a strong left. Alright, so now the skink has the ball. What is he called again? Itzja. And they're going to open up a huge gap there in the center. On their left side. They're just charging forward, knocking down Ratman, one of the gutter runners. And they're going to create a gap there. I'll bet you they're going to create a wall here so they can just make their run. Yep, there you can see one of the Sauruses getting into position. And they're going to give themselves a defense on this side of the field. You can hear they're starting to run out of time, and they're wanting to make sure that they have at least some protection for the ball carrier in his current position. And the Rat Ogre cannot move. He's a wild animal. So now the Blitz comes in, knocking back one of the Sauruses. Oh, knocking aside one of them there. So they're creating a gap in that wall. And the Storm Vermin is going to move further up there. The Riddler has done quite a bit this game. And now one of their linemen is going to get into position. Stitch. Now the Skaven have been a bit more aggressive this game than I've seen them in a long time. Most of the time they create a zone, at least the Water Sallies usually create a zone defense and let the other side come to them, making them use their one blitz. But in this particular case, I mean, they're still kind of keeping a little bit of distance, but they're actually doing some more attacking than I'm used to. Or than I'm used to seeing. I guess they have some confidence because they're going up oftentimes against skinks. But against those Sauruses, they don't have much of a chance. As will be exemplified right here. Nibbler is injured. This is kind of what I had meant. Alright. And now the skinks go... Well, actually, one of them moves over to the other side of the field. Yeah, let's look from their point of view. Are they going to switch sides? Oh, now you have a blitz on his side. I wonder why he used it for that player. He isn't attacking anybody, but he did move over to the right side. That'll be an interesting thing since the Skaven have filled up the left side. The Lizardmen are going to go to the right. They're going to get their skinks into place. And now Water Sallies are... The Giants are going to knock each other down. Snowball is stunned. That's especially bad news. I mean, they both got knocked down, but because the Rat Ogre took a stronger hit, he is now going to be knocked down for a little bit longer. And they're going to knock out the one... Actually, this is really bad for this game, because you can see all of their players are over there on the left, and the Lizardmen are now making their bid to the right. And Baldy is injured, so not only are they on the wrong side of the field, but they are also being knocked down, so as a result, they're just not going to be able to get over there on time. But the Lizardmen aren't going to take any chances. They're going to maneuver a wall over there. And the skink is going to get into place. Actually, it's not just a wall. They're going to actually create a little box around them. There. And reinforced box, it seems. Alright, and then, yeah, one over here. Oh, nope, it's going to be, okay, diagonal. They just have the one little gap here. Nope, no longer. Oh, nope. So he's getting a couple more space. I'm not quite sure why they didn't fill the gap right here, because that, of course, is an open space. But the Water Sallies are not going to be able to exploit it because they're getting knocked down when they even try to get up and go after them. And so it goes back to Seattle Slithers. There is not much blocking. For 2 turns, the Skaven have been unable to get themselves over to this side of the field. They've been just simply blocked over there, or because of circumstances, have been, and their players have remained on that side of the field. It keeps getting turnovers before they get a chance to move over there. And so they remain on the wrong side of the field while the Lizardmen are running up. And in fact, there's the ball carrier, is now at the 20-yard line, and the box is being built around them again. I don't know if the Skaven are going to even, if it's even possible for them to get to the ball carrier at this point. They may just have to let him go, or at least put pressure on him to make sure he makes that touchdown, so they still have time to get a touchdown and at least tie the game up. And now they're placing some of their players around to block the Skaven. Let's switch back over to the other side of the view, because we're going to probably see this touchdown come up. Oh, and here comes a blitz. Right into the Riddler. They were sick of him having accomplishing things. So riddle me this. Why'd you allow this to happen? Okay, well now the Rat Ogre is getting up. He's going right after the... Now, yeah, you can see they're using their blitz here. So the Skaven, instead of going after the ball carrier, they're just going to do as much damage as possible in hopes that the Lizardmen will not be strong enough to stop their bid. Or maybe there's some other reason, who knows. But right now, they're just going after individual Lizardmen. The Riddler gets his revenge. That's the Riddler's revenge, just like the ride. And now they're applying a little bit of pressure. They bring Ratman over here. They're like, "What are you?" And he says, "I'm Ratman." And it's a touchdown! Lizardmen get their second score and possibly their first win, while I was talking about Ratman. Oh, and the Skink has to knock himself out with the ball. But that was an incredible run on the side of the Seattle Slithers. On their last play, they did not even bother going after any of them because they don't want to take a chance with their horrible luck. They just simply go in with for the touchdown. You have 3 of the Skaven horribly injured, and so they're not going to be able to come back up into this game. They have one of them who is stunned, able to come back. And now the Lizardmen going to try to hold their lead and finally pull off a win. They have a checkerboard formation to try to hold it. The Skaven, with only 2 gutter runners left, are going to put them on the far ends at the goal line. We talked about that, not a goal line, on the sidelines. We talked about that earlier, how that's very unwise. You do have the 2 Storm Vermin up at the line, along with the Rat Ogre, so they're strongest players, and they only have 1 in the backfield. Brilliant coaching. Both teams get an extra reroll, because they're both brilliant coaches, apparently. And the kick is shallow in the front. The thrower's going to run up there to get it, and he's right up at the front. He's not even going to lose any ground. He's going to move over here, way over to the right. So now they're... Oh, and he's going to pass it to his runner, who is now going to run with it. He's going to dodge. He goes 14, 18, 20. Wow! He is almost at the... Beethoven is almost at the end zone. See, it's that kind of a play that if you get the extra movement, the Skaven could actually score on the first turn. And it looks like they're going to try to knock down anybody who's in range, or at least cover anybody who's in range who could really take Beethoven down. That is how they're going to score before this game is over. And now they're going to even guard those Skinks. What is his name? Penguin is going to go up between the 2 of them using his blitz. And here goes the Rat Ogre Snowball. Nothing can stop him. So they're going to stop any of these Lizardmen who could possibly get to Beethoven in time. And it goes to the Lizardmen. They get a skull right off the bat going after Penguin, but then with the reroll, knock his hat off. Okay, that was not good. And then, alright, Sosaurus is coming back. I'm not sure quite where he's going. And now for the blitz. The little guy is going to try to take him out of there. He knocks him out of bounds, and Beethoven's going to get... You remember what I said about running along the sidelines? Beethoven did not learn from what I was telling you about. He was running too close to the edge, and now he's been thrown off to the side. And now the skink on the other side runs back and manages to get it. Lizardmen have the ball. It now gets a turnover from a knockdown, but Seattle Slithers have the ball. It is near the Skaven end zone, but it's looking pretty hopeless for Water Sallies to be able to tie us up. But they are going to do their best by knocking out a skink. That's kind of a motivational poster, I think. Slats is stunned. And now the Rat Ogre moves forward and gets right into the face of the skink. I would not want to be on the small end of that one. Alright, I can hear other things going. Alright, and there, okay, and what is his name? That is Ratman is going to run up to guard the skink as well. Scud Runner can you remember what I said about Skaven speed? You will think they're safely far away, and then they will all of a sudden run up to being right where they need to be. At this particular point, though, all the Seattle Slither need to do to win is to keep the ball out of the Skaven's hands. Now, at this point, it'll be difficult because if they lose it, the ball will be right there. But now the Rat Ogre is going to be knocked down. Of course, he's knocked right in the way of... No, actually not right in the way. Okay, so now the stunty little... what is it called? Stunty little skink is going to maneuver out of the way and slither on over here to their left flank, to the left side of the field, leaving behind in the dust the others. These are two very fast teams because, just like I said, the Skaven are very fast, but you notice how far the skink went all the way across, not only to the other side of the small end of the field, but forward as well. And now, for good measure, the Seattle Slither are going to also knock back a few of the other players. Now that their box created, the Skaven are going to have to break through. They're going to start with one of the skinks over there. The Storm Vermin has made his way into that pocket. And now, running in, you have Stitch. He hits! He knocks back the skink. The ball is going to go loose. It goes into the out of the field and flies into the center, right by a couple of Skaven. The Storm Vermin runs back. He gets it. He is not very good at picking up, but he's going to get a reroll. And he gets it. Storm Vermin has it. He's running forward. He's out of space, and it's on turn 15. He passes it successfully to Ratman. Ratman fronts. Ratman scores! Touchdown! Tied 2-2. Water Sallies has now tied this game up when it just looked completely hopeless for them. The ball was on the completely opposite side of the field. They did a complete Hail Mary maneuver. It succeeded. Every one of those maneuvers should not have worked. Every one of those maneuvers was a huge long shot. Then now, of course, they did fail at one of them and managed to do the reroll. But even with rerolls, that was a maneuver that should not have worked. All of those maneuvers just should not have worked. That was just absolutely extraordinary. I am flabbergasted. Now, of course, the skink had not followed their own rules. Remember what the problem was with the Skaven? They were right next to the it's raining. Oh, the rain has suddenly started falling. All right, so now luck even goes against the Seattle Slithers once again, as if final insult, by raining, and now it's slippery, hard for them to pick up. And the reroll, they still can't pick it up. Oh, the luck has just returned for the Seattle Slithers, and the rain is there to rain on their mood. This is just sad. Now, and there you go. There's the game. The last thing I was trying to tell you about was both sides made the mistake of placing their player right next to the not end zone, to the out of bounds. And in both cases, their player was knocked out of the side. It was only an arrow that was rolled. They were not knocked down. They were merely knocked out of the field, which caused the ball to go free and then to be thrown free. In the case of the Lizardmen, it was especially bad luck because the ball went flying in and flew right to one of the Skaven players. So that allowed them to then run, pick up the ball, and pass it to one of their faster runners, one of the gutter runners, who ran in for the touchdown, and that scored it, or that tied it up 2-2. That kept either of them from having a victory. So neither one of these teams has had a victory this season. Neither one of them has won the season. But at least in this case, neither of them suffered yet another loss. The MVP on the Lizardman side was Itzja, and on the Skaven side was Snowball. Itzja, I think, managed to carry the ball a bit. Snowball, I mean, he knocked some people down, but he really wasn't the player. It should have really been Ratman, who got that last touchdown, or Beethoven, who made some good plays, or I would say even that Gutter, or that Storm Vermin, who managed to pick up the ball at the end. But anyway, so it was you can see the Seattle Slither had the ball for far more of the game, but the Skaven, the thing about them is they oftentimes won't have the ball for very long. It's just they have that one dramatic play, as you saw with that first initial touchdown and with the touchdown at the end there. That was an extraordinary play. Just absolutely a lot of luck on their side. Now you can see all these statistics, and the SPP, oh well, the Seattle Slither, at least in this case, they're going to have more experience points for themselves, because you can see over here the Itzja has been given a lot more, Snowball's been given some, but yeah, so hopefully Seattle Slither will be able to use those and improve the team and come back and start having some more victories. But for now, that'll do it for us. Be sure to subscribe to see more of these videos, and this season will be continuing along until its conclusion. This is another game from the one of the last. No, I think it's the middle of the match that we're at. Anyway, the middle of this particular competition. Anyway, so there will be several more weeks of this. Be sure to subscribe to see more of those, and happy gaming to you all.